Lewis Hamilton has stumbled upon a serious issue in Ferrari's 2026 Project 678, and it could completely change the championship landscape before the season even starts. What he discovered in the car is sending shockwaves through Maranello and the entire paddock. If this issue proves significant, Ferrari could be struggling to stay competitive, while rivals like Mercedes and Red Bull may gain a massive advantage. The opening races of 2026 could already be decided by what Hamilton found. Insiders reveal that Hamilton's discovery isn't something obvious. It's buried deep in the hybrid power unit, the radically redesigned aerodynamics, and the new pushrod suspension system. Ferrari has kept the details under wraps, and the FIA is quietly monitoring the situation. Later in this video, we'll reveal exactly what Hamilton uncovered, why it has shaken Ferrari's engineering team, and how it could influence race strategy and the entire grid. The full story behind Project 678 is far more dramatic than anyone outside Maranello currently knows. Ferrari enters the 2026 season with ambitious expectations, unveiling the Project 678 car, a radical redesign featuring a completely overhauled hybrid power unit and next-generation aerodynamic package. From the very first laps, Lewis Hamilton reportedly detected subtle anomalies in the car's behavior that were not immediately visible on telemetry. These irregularities appeared in the car's responses under braking, throttle modulation, and cornering, prompting engineers to investigate immediately. The implications were clear. Even minor issues could compromise early season performance and threaten Ferrari's championship ambitions. Central to Ferrari's concern is the hybrid energy system. Hamilton reportedly observed fluctuations in energy recovery and deployment that could affect corner exit speed, tire wear, and overall lap consistency. While these deviations are subtle, their impact is compounded by the car's high-performance thresholds. Engineers immediately initiated exhaustive simulations to understand whether these anomalies were isolated or indicative of a systemic flaw, knowing that any oversight could have dramatic consequences for both qualifying and race day performance. Suspension and chassis interactions add another layer of complexity. Project 678 introduces extensive revisions to suspension geometry and aerodynamics that directly influence how the hybrid system interacts with the car. Hamilton reportedly experienced moments where minimal steering or throttle inputs caused disproportionately large reactions in the car's balance, signaling potential integration issues. Engineers are now tasked with mapping these complex interactions to ensure that adjustments in one system do not inadvertently cause failures or unpredictable behavior in another, making pre-season a high-stakes puzzle. The strategic priorities of Ferrari have shifted dramatically. Traditionally, pre-season focused on aerodynamic fine-tuning, tire wear analysis, and incremental setup improvements. Now, a significant portion of resources is dedicated to diagnosing Hamilton's findings, understanding the cause of the anomalies, and mitigating potential risks. Each CFD iteration, wind tunnel test, and track lap is scrutinized not only for potential performance gains, but also for signs of latent instability. This shift illustrates how a single driver's insight can fundamentally redefine the workflow of a top-tier Formula One team during the critical preseason period. The psychological dimension is intense. Hamilton must provide precise, actionable feedback while continuing to push the car to generate essential performance data. Engineers rely on these insights to implement rapid corrections, ensuring that the car remains both fast and reliable. This dynamic underscores the driver's dual role as competitor and technical collaborator, where their ability to perceive subtle irregularities can determine the trajectory of pre-season development and early season competitiveness. The ripple effect of Hamilton's discovery extends beyond Ferrari. Rival teams, including Mercedes, Red Bull, and McLaren, are reportedly monitoring lap times, sector data, and any observable anomalies to anticipate where Ferrari might struggle. Even indirect signals of instability are sufficient to influence competitor planning and testing strategies. Hamilton's findings have transformed pre-season testing into a high-stakes intelligence operation, where every lap, telemetry spike, and adjustment carries strategic weight across the paddock. Finally, the implications for the 2026 season are profound. Engineers must validate every component, hybrid map, and chassis interaction to ensure consistent performance and reliability. Any unresolved issue could compromise early races, erode driver confidence, and threaten Ferrari's championship prospects. Pre-season has become a crucible where each adjustment and test session carries amplified consequences. Hamilton's early detection sets the stage for a season filled with tension, uncertainty, and potentially dramatic shifts in Formula One's competitive hierarchy. The first partial revelation emerged as Hamilton began testing the Ferrari Project 678 under race-like conditions. Sources indicate that he identified subtle anomalies in the hybrid power unit's energy deployment and torque distribution. While these irregularities were nearly invisible on standard telemetry, Hamilton's experience and acute sensitivity allowed him to detect inconsistencies that could affect acceleration, braking, and overall cornering behavior. Engineers immediately shifted focus from conventional performance optimization to rigorous diagnostics, realizing that even a minor flaw could ripple through the car's integrated systems and compromise early season performance. Rival teams reportedly started paying close attention to Ferrari's pre-season performance metrics. Mercedes, Red Bull, and McLaren analyzed sector times, speed trap data, and lap-to-lap variations, attempting to determine whether Ferrari's apparent early pace might mask underlying weaknesses. Even without direct access to telemetry, these subtle signals were enough to influence competitor strategy and testing schedules. Hamilton's discovery turned preseason into a high-stakes intelligence exercise where rival teams scrambled to interpret and predict the implications of Ferrari's potential vulnerabilities. The hybrid power unit lies at the core of the problem. Sources suggest that Hamilton observed fluctuations in energy recovery and deployment that could affect tire management, acceleration consistency, and corner exit speeds. Ferrari engineers are running multiple simulations to identify the conditions under which these fluctuations occur and whether they could escalate into reliability issues. The complex interaction between the hybrid system, combustion engine, and chassis means that even minor deviations can cascade, potentially affecting qualifying and race day performance, highlighting the urgency of Hamilton's early detection. Suspension and chassis dynamics further complicate the situation. Project 678 features a revised suspension geometry designed to optimize aerodynamics and mechanical grip. Hamilton reportedly noticed that minimal adjustments in throttle or steering produced disproportionately large changes in the car's balance, indicating potential integration challenges. Engineers are now meticulously mapping every interaction between suspension, hybrid system, and chassis to ensure that correcting one issue does not inadvertently create another. This makes pre-season testing a delicate and high-stakes endeavor, where precision is essential to prevent compounding errors. Ferrari's pre-season strategy has shifted dramatically. Traditional priorities, such as aerodynamic refinement and tire wear analysis, have been overtaken by diagnostic testing focused on Hamilton's findings. Every CFD iteration, wind tunnel test, and track session is examined for both performance potential and latent instability. This shift demonstrates how a single driver's insights can reshape the operational focus of a top Formula One team, forcing engineers to balance aggressive performance development with caution to avoid introducing new issues. The psychological pressure on Hamilton and Ferrari's engineers is considerable. Hamilton must deliver detailed, actionable feedback while simultaneously pushing the car to extract performance data that informs development. Engineers must interpret these observations accurately and implement corrective measures without creating further complications. This driver-engineer dynamic highlights the increasingly critical role of F1 drivers as technical collaborators whose observations can directly shape pre-season strategy, car development, and competitive readiness. Finally, Hamilton's discovery has reverberated across the paddock. Competitor teams are reportedly recalibrating simulations, adjusting testing programs, and revising early season strategies based on indirect signs of Ferrari's vulnerabilities. Even subtle indicators of instability are enough to influence how rivals prepare for the season. Hamilton's early detection has transformed pre-season testing into a high-pressure arena of technical scrutiny, strategic observation, and competitive maneuvering, setting the stage for a tense and unpredictable 2026 Formula One season. The first major twist emerges as Hamilton's discovery indicates that the anomaly in Ferrari's Project 678 may not be isolated, but could affect multiple interdependent systems. Sources suggest that the hybrid power unit, torque delivery, and chassis dynamics might all be subtly impacted, amplifying inconsistencies under high-load conditions. Engineers are conducting detailed simulations to determine whether the problem is a minor calibration issue or a deeper systemic flaw that could compromise Ferrari's performance over multiple circuits. Every lap is analyzed not just for speed, but for subtle signs of instability that could manifest under real race conditions. At the core of this twist lies the hybrid system's unpredictable energy deployment. Hamilton reportedly detected fluctuations during critical acceleration and cornering phases that could impact tire wear, corner exits, and overall stability. Engineers are examining how these variations interact with the new combustion engine, battery storage, and chassis integration. The complexity of these interactions means that even small deviations can cascade into larger performance or reliability issues, emphasizing the urgency of fully understanding and addressing Hamilton's findings before the season opener. The FIA adds another layer of tension. Although Ferrari remains within the technical regulations, the integration of a hybrid system with the car's updated aerodynamics and suspension could draw scrutiny if competitors perceive any borderline advantage. Any mitigation measures introduced by Ferrari will be observed carefully, and rival teams may lodge protests if they believe regulations are being exploited. This regulatory pressure forces Ferrari to navigate a delicate balance between extracting maximum performance and maintaining compliance, creating a high-stakes environment where each engineering decision carries significant consequences. Strategically, Ferrari's pre-season testing program has been restructured in response. Sessions that would typically focus on aerodynamic refinement, tire degradation, and incremental setup improvements are now dominated by diagnostic and problem-solving tasks. Engineers must evaluate each lap and system iteration not only for performance, but for reliability, stability, and integration consistency. This shift demonstrates how a single observation from a driver of Hamilton's caliber can fundamentally redefine a top F1 team's approach to pre-season testing, forcing a careful balance between innovation and risk mitigation. The psychological pressure on Hamilton and Ferrari's engineering team is intense. Hamilton must provide detailed, actionable feedback while continuing to push the car to extract critical performance data. Engineers must interpret these observations accurately and implement adjustments swiftly, ensuring that no new complications arise. This dynamic underscores the increasingly crucial role of drivers as technical collaborators, where their input directly shapes development strategy, pre-season preparation, and early season competitiveness. The ripple effects extend across the paddock. Rival teams, including Mercedes, Red Bull, and McLaren, are reportedly recalibrating simulations, adjusting testing schedules, and rethinking early season strategies based on subtle indications of Ferrari's potential vulnerabilities. Even indirect evidence of instability is enough to influence competitor preparation. Hamilton's discovery has transformed pre-season testing into a high-pressure intelligence operation, where every lap, telemetry spike, and observation is analyzed for strategic advantage and insight into Ferrari's performance potential. Finally, the long-term consequences for Ferrari's 2026 campaign could be significant. Engineers must validate every component, hybrid map, and chassis interaction to ensure consistent reliability and performance. Any unresolved issue could compromise early race results, erode driver confidence, and jeopardize championship prospects. Hamilton's early detection has turned pre-season into a crucible where each engineering decision, adjustment, and test session carries amplified consequences, setting the stage for a season filled with tension, unpredictability, and high-stakes competition across the grid.